whatever you find that helps you diffuse unwanted feelings and infuse wanted feelings is what the path of least resistance is all about. That's it. Even the idea that you have to work hard to be connected. We want to say this. If you don't do that thing you do that introduces resistance into the equation, there won't be any resistance in the equation, and your thought of desire, your pure thought of desire, will just manifest all around you. And so if something happened when you were little and you remember it and you don't like it, if you didn't tell your mother, so she's not remembering it, so she's not talking to your teachers about it or your counselors about it or to all of her friends about it, then the probability of it becoming a bigger and a bigger vibration in your equation is almost non-existent. And since your little and your now moment is what's got your most attention, in other words, you know how easy it is to distract a child. Your wonderful life is distracting you, so you don't activate that again. It's gone from your existence. It's gone from your experience. But once the counselor gets hold of it, no matter what it is, if you don't keep renewing its activation, then it becomes inactive. The only thing that stays active in your bag of marbles is what you're giving attention to. People say, well, what about unconscious or subconscious thoughts? We say, if it's not active enough that you're having an emotion around it, it's a non-player in your experience. And if you are having an emotion around it, then diffuse the thought that doesn't feel good and infuse the thought that feels better. In most cases, we say get off the subject altogether. This is how the law of attraction works. If it's not active in your vibration, how often have you, the other night, Esther was thinking about someone, and it was that person sending her a text in that moment. A person that she doesn't get a text from very often, hardly ever. And Esther knows, I activated in my vibration. It's a vibrational match to what I'm wanting, and there it is. She texted back, it's 11:30. I was asleep, you jackass. No. She texted back, it's no wonder that you came back to me in this moment because I've been contemplating you. It's the way it works. We want you to associate your connection with your thoughts, because you can direct your thoughts, and that's what creators do. You direct your thoughts, but you direct your thoughts, and then what? So if you direct your thoughts and then you don't ever follow through with what that thought and its activation brings back to you, then instead of being a deliberate creator, you're all over the place, and you got things that you want and things that you don't want. And then we have endless questions about, well, why do I feel like this, and why do I think this, and should I pursue this, and what about this? And we just want you to simplify it. Don't try to sort everything out. You sorted it out and it's in the vortex. Go in the direction of that. And if you go in the direction of that by feeling your way there, you'll know it when you see it. You'll know it when you see it. Jerry and Esther would show up in some lovely clothing store or furniture store or kitchen making store or bus production store, and they'd say, what are you looking for? And Jerry would say, we'll know it when we see it. We'll know it when we see it, because he knew his intentions had already been well established. And if it's here and we're here, we'll see it. We'll know it when we see it. And if someone would get hold of him and say, well, is it this? Is it this? Is it this? Is it this? They'd say, oh, it's so nice meeting you. Gotta go. Because they don't want to be asked, is it this? 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 You'll know it when you see it. You'll know it when you see it, if you've established what it is going to feel like. That's why what I want and why I want it is the only thing you need to figure out. I want it. I want it. Put it in your mind, whatever it is. I want it because I think it would feel really good to live that. I want it because it satisfies a lot of things. I want it because it just feels good to think about experiencing that, having it, being it. I want it because it would feel good. I want it because others will be jealous. I want it because I don't have it. I want it to prove something. You can tell. Why do I want it? I want it. I want it. And it won't be long, friends, before you'll say, I want it because it is natural to me. I want it because I'm supposed to thrive. I want it because I am a blessed being. I want it because in lots of your translations, because God is good. I want it because I am worthy. I want it because well-being abounds. I want it because it would be fun to have it. I want it because it's logical. I want it because I'm expanding. I want it because it's more. I want it because it would be entertaining. It would be uplifting. It would be enlightening. It would be exhilarating. It would be fun. It would be interesting. It would feel good. I want it because I even like thinking about it. I want it because... And then as you practice that about this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that, and the universe starts bringing you into awareness of it this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, it's not long before you start to understand the power of your focus. Jerry and Esther hadn't been together very long. They had barely known us very long. They were out in the desert of Tucson. And Esther said, I like those big cactuses that look like monsters standing out there. Can we have one? And Jerry said, I don't think you can just go dig one up and bring it home. Esther said, why? Because it's big. And Jerry said, that. And because you have to get a permit. They are protected in some way. I read about it somewhere. And Esther said, I wonder how anybody would move one anyway. And they turned the corner, and there was a big machine that had picked one up and had put it back on its own self, and it was driving somewhere. And Jerry just looked at Esther like, can you believe that? Have you ever had that thought before in your entire life? And Esther said, no. So then they spent some time with us wanting to know, did Esther have that thought because she was going to turn a corner and there was going to be an answer to a question that she didn't have? And we say, there is divine timing like that. In other words, you are rendezvousing, but you don't rendezvous with something that you're not a vibrational match to. Well, why was she a vibrational match? An instant vibrational match. And that's the closest thing to instant manifestation that she ever lived. Why does that happen? Because it's a thought that you're not contradicting. Esther didn't say, well, I sure would like to see how they move them, but I doubt that I ever will, because if they need permits and everything, then it's probably not a snowball's chance in hell that I'll ever get to see something like that. It was just a simple thought with no resistance attached to it in any way, shape, or form. So when you want something without having practiced why you can't have it or why you shouldn't have it or why you're mad at somebody else that does have it, then you block it. But you unblock by diffusing. You unblock by diffusing. So what are we saying to you? Don't think that thought anymore. Really? Abraham, don't think that? Well, we wouldn't tell you that because now you're thinking about that thing that you're not wanting to think about. Thinking about that thing that you're not wanting to think about. Now, in fact, you're thinking more about that thing that you not want to think about it than you were before. And so that's not the answer. So what is the answer? Think about something else. Turn your attention to something else. Well, at first, friends, we love you so much. When you first start doing this, you're probably going to think about something else that is kind of in the vibrational vicinity of the thing that you don't want to think about. That's just how the law of attraction works. It's going to answer where you mostly are. But if you continue to care about how you feel, and you continue to think about the path of least resistance, and you continue to deliberately reach for thoughts, it won't be long before easy thoughts will flow into your experience, until somebody will say something to you that you used to worry a lot about, and you'll think, oh, I haven't thought about that in a long time. And now I'm hearing it. I feel different than I thought about it a long time ago because I'm in a different point of attraction, you see.